Welcome to my talk titled Glyphoscape, an escape room game based on biochemical principles of herbicides using the example of glyphosate. I will present you an escape room game in the next few minutes about glyphosate, and this escape room is designed for students aged 16 years or older. Due to the virtual presentation, you can't see me, so I want to introduce myself. I'm Hilko Eitz. I studied education, chemistry and mathematics at the University of Göttingen in Germany. Since 2020, I'm a PhD student in chemistry education. And if you want, you can reach me at the given information on this slide. But first of all, what are escape rooms? According to Scott Nicholson, a professor of game design, escape rooms are games where a team of players has to solve puzzles and riddles and has to accomplish tasks for a certain goal. Usually the players are locked in a room and they must escape it before time is run up. Usually this is about 1 hour. The goals can be different, but usually they have to escape the room. The task of an escape room game can be very challenging, so the participants need logical and critical thinking, teamwork, and creativity to accomplish these tasks. This is similar to common electronic serious games. This has promising opportunities for an educational settings. Because of this, educators around the world adapted this concept for educational purposes. Currently, you can find only single case studies in literature about these educational escape rooms, but usually they report very positive effects. The escape room games can be used for new and challenging learning environments with unusual tasks. Glyphoscape, the Forgotten Lab, is one of these educational escape rooms. The participants are young students exploring abandoned places. And while exploring, they came across an old laboratory, which was run in the early 70s by the fictional person Dr. Alba. But this lab and the building will be demolished in 1 hour. So the goal of the players is to uncover the secrets of Dr. Alba before demolishing. Dr. Alba conducted private research on the mechanism of action of herbicides, especially glyphosate. But Monsanto patented glyphosate in 1974, so Alba stopped researching, saved the results on an old computer, and secured it with various riddles. This computer will play a very important role later in the game. Before I present the content and structure of the escape room game, I want to explain the scientific backgrounds on glyphosate. Glyphosate is one of the most used and most important herbicides in agriculture. You can see the structure of glyphosate in figure 1a. The use of glyphosate was dramatically simplified after the development of glyphosate-resistant crops, and there's an ongoing debate on the cancerogenic potential. But this is not content of the game and also not content of this presentation. How does glyphosate work? Glyphosate inhibits the EPSP synthase in the Shikimate pathway. The Shikimate pathway is a unique metabolic pathway for higher plants and microorganisms. And it's responsible for the synthesis of aromatic amino acids. In the penultimate step, this enzyme catalyzes the reaction from PEP and S3P to EPSP and phosphate. PEP, the substrate of the enzyme, and glyphosate share a very similar ionic structure. So despite the fact that glyphosate is a slightly longer molecule, it can inhibit the enzyme. You can see the molecular structure of the open and inhibited enzyme in figure 1b and c, and also in red the glyphosate molecule. The game is divided into 3 different sections. First, pesticides and herbicides. Second, enzymes. And last, enzyme inhibition. Each section follows a similar structure. First, various puzzles regarding to the topic of the section are presented. And these puzzles are arranged in a linear form. So you have to solve, or the players have to solve a puzzle before they can go to the next puzzle. This will present a subdivision of the group, and every team member has to participate in the actual puzzle. In the puzzles, the students gain knowledge about the basic topics of this section, and I will give an example later in this presentation. Each section is completed with a so-called gatekeeper puzzle, and this puzzle takes place on the computer of Dr. Alba, where several questions about glyphosate are asked. And these questions correspond to the puzzles of the section. I will also give an example of a gatekeeper question later in this presentation. Here you can see the content and structure of the game on one slide and each puzzle of the game. So as I mentioned, the game is structured in 3 different sections, and first different puzzles have to be solved, and after solving the gatekeeper puzzle, the next section can begin, and so on. The arrows on this slide indicate the linear structure of the game. To give an example, I will now present you the first puzzle of the game. Special for the first puzzle is that it can't be too complicated to prevent frustration by the players. In the escape room, the player will find 5 pictures with frames in different colors on a wall, and in each picture a Roman number from 1 to 5 is hidden. I highlighted these numbers with red circles on this slide. Next to it are 5 pieces of paper with the given words, and each word is written in a different color, and these colors matched with the colors of the frame of the picture. Some of the letters of the words are replaced with Arabic numbers, and the Arabic numbers are important for the next puzzle, which is locked with a combination locker. The Roman numbers indicate an order of these Arabic numbers. So the students have to assign a picture and a word together, and then they have to order the Arabic numbers to get the combination of the lock. At the end of the section, the players can unlock the old computer from Dr. Alba and solve the gatekeeper puzzle. And as I mentioned, for each puzzle, a question is asked in this gatekeeper puzzle. This question on the slide is the first question of the gatekeeper puzzle, corresponding to the presented puzzle. In the puzzle, the players learn the names and targets of different pesticides, and as the question asks, Dr. Alba reports that glyphosate is effective against plants. So to continue the puzzle, the students have to answer this question and type the correct answer in the console of the computer. The program gives a feedback if the answer is correct or not, and if the answer is correct, the next question appears on the screen. The presented escape room game can be used in different didactic scenarios. For example, it's possible to use the escape room game to introduce the students to the induced fit model or the lock-in key model for the understanding of enzymes. It's also possible to use the game to teach about the basic principles of glyphosate, enzyme, and enzyme inhibition in general. After playing the game, the students can talk about the possible cancerogenicity of glyphosate, or more in general, about the use of pesticides and herbicides in agriculture and their environmental implications. If you want to use it in a more biochemical setting, the basis of the genetic modification could be discussed after the game. For example, the 2 articles 11 and 12 from the Journal of Chemical Education lead to a discussion and experiment about the genetic modifications. The game was designed to be very flexible and customizable. It can be used in science outreach activities or in open days in schools. Or if you want, in project-based learnings where students build this room at their school by themselves. For half of the puzzles, there are inexpensive and less complex alternatives available, so the game can be used depending on the given restrictions. The 2 experiments in this game can be easily replaced by notes from Dr. Alba, so if you don't want to use experiments in this game, it's very easy to replace them. We believe that the presented game offers a very flexible design for an exciting and motivating learning environment. We want to examine the game for learning and motivation effects, and we also want to try to publish the game on our website in German and English. So thank you for watching the presentation, and if you want to give feedback or if you want to ask a question, don't hesitate to write an email. Thank you.